Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Not Bland Show, and I'm your host, Dujane Bland. And today we're going to start off with a little NFL, as the NFL has finally kicked off its regular season fully, as we did have a Thursday night teaser, and Sunday, it exploded. Great weekend of football. If you're looking at the league and you're looking at teams around the league, parity is definitely on the docket because it was some really good games for week one. Of course, before you ever even get started, let's like and share, tell a friend to tell a friend that we're here. We're going to talk a little NFL. And on the backside, we're going to talk a little NHRA with the Mack attack. Mighty Mack will be on, and we'll be talking about the playoffs that come up and start, I believe, this weekend. So it is going to be jam-packed. We're going to get to it. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel. And, we want to thank SportsJourney, of course, Everything Nitro, and, of course, our sponsor, Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It will be another weekend of hell for most of us as we try to pick our drivers one by one in hopes to be the last one standing to get the prize. And all I'm trying to do is just stay alive. It is playoff time. It has reset, and we are on to the championship. So, Dave, all that regular season nonsense you got, it's over now. It's time for playoffs, and we're going to try to do that. We're going to have Conor Forrest on right after our break. We're going to get him in here, and we're going to start talking about the NFL and start with last night's contest that was quite interesting. But before we do that, we'll hear a word from our sponsor.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
So you know what you need to do, and we'll talk about Drag Race Bracket Bonanza in a little bit, but he is our senior chief editor of SportsJourney.com. He is a senior NFL insider and is a senior NFL insider for Heavy.com as well. It's my guy, Conor Forrest. What's going on, baby?
What's up, DJ? You're looking great. I got to tell you, man, the graphics, the video, I mean, the whole thing, dude, you're putting the rest of us out of business. You got
to bring it, baby. You got to bring it all, you know?
That's it, babe. What do we say? If you're going to come home late, don't do it at 12:01. You got to fully send it, right?
Exactly. Send it. Send it.
It's good to see you, brother. Good to see you, man.
You too, Brett. Look, they sent it on Monday night.
Man, did they?
Caleb Williams come out. Thought at times he looked pretty decent. You had on the other side J.J. McCarthy, the big question mark that everybody said. But we know the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, Kevin O'Connell, pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
And know that he has been a mastermind with quarterbacks. Look, on the Bears side, how do you rate Caleb Williams' start here at his first regular season game on Monday night?
You know, it's kind of tough because I think a couple things became pretty clear watching last night's game was Caleb Williams really seems to still have that college kid in him where he just thrives outside the pocket and on the run. I mean, he hit Roma Dunes on a route outside the pocket that very few people on earth could deliver at the velocity that he did. His arm talent is absolutely, I mean, you can't knock that from him at all. He's got incredible arm talent. The problem for Caleb Williams seems to be what most young quarterbacks have done well. He really struggles still on script and in the pocket between the tackles. And it's odd because, again, this is a quarterback that's now dealing with a second head coach and a new offensive coordinator. And we know how much that can set rookie quarterbacks back, especially guys who, might be slower adjusting to NFL speed. His accuracy is still a problem. I'm really not sure if I'm seeing the progression from Caleb Williams on the basic things. Again, behavior between the tackles, ability to manipulate the line of scrimmage, ability to manipulate defenses with your eyes. He is relying way too much on his given gifted talent.
Yeah.
For me to feel like by year 2, you should start seeing these things develop. And, to me, on the other side of the football, what you saw with J.J. McCarthy was progression over the course of the night. This is a guy who his first NFL touchdown pass was to a defender, and he found a way to continue to kind of build brick by brick up until the point where he started having that Colt McCoy in him that I'm just going to tuck this ball and run and watch me do it. That's kind of what it's a very micro level. It's arguably his first NFL start. His first NFL action at all, missing last year with an injury. That's what you want to see on a micro level from Caleb Williams' progression of, this is what he's starting to do really well. This is what he's starting to do really well. And this is what he needs to work on as he kind of work down that pilot's checklist. I'm just not seeing that a ton from Caleb. And that's the problem. His talent is keeping him in this conversation. But I don't know when long is long enough with him. I don't know at what point you start, maybe week 7, week 8. If you're not seeing this stuff progress, do you start pulling the ripcord and start panicking a little bit?
Yeah, I agree. That's been his thing since USC. Just the simple fact that when you're looking at the intangibles is great, but it's the mechanics, it's the consistency of doing the quarterback things and not relying on the legs or the arm talent. And relying on those things have got him in trouble, and he's thrown INTs. I hope that he progresses. I think Ben Johnson can help him out a lot. But once again, Ben Johnson loses a ball game because of cutesiness. See, the dude's ego is in the way, my man. Like,
it's a killer.
I've been saying this since the NFC Championship game. If he doesn't do the cutesy stuff, maybe they might win the game in a close one. But he sure enough didn't help himself by doing that. And here we are with the Bears. They pretty much had the game, I thought, in hand. They were controlling it until they weren't. So those are things that we're going to be keeping an eye on and seeing if those things can change as we further ourselves in the season. I'll start with Jalen Carter was given a pretty hefty fine today for his Hawk Tua on on Dak Prescott. Is that fair?
I think so. I mean, this is the kind of thing, when it comes down to this, look, I don't know. There's some running lists I have in my head. Grant Paulson, one of my good buddies, he put one out on Twitter, and I think it's great. It's kind of the list of the most disrespectful things you can see a dude do to another man on a professional sports field. And I think spitting on somebody is about the top of that list. Yeah. Maybe Brad Marchand licking somebody, maybe Mike Tyson biting a dude's ear, or taking a hockey stick and whacking a dude in the face. These are all items, but I'll say this, you got to police this hard out of the sport. And look, these guys are gladiators. They're alpha males out there. Emotions are high. You are kind of in a zone. You have to make it known very clearly. And this is what the NFL did when Myles Garrett pulled the helmet off of Mason Rudolph. It's no, we're going to make you the example, and we're going to make it hurt so badly, you're not even going to instinctively think about doing this. So I like it. When it comes to this kind of stuff, that's why I ended up being totally okay with kind of the treatment that Myles Garrett, got for the Mason Rudolph thing however, if that helmet had connected, we're having a different conversation, but it didn't. You still have to make sure that just in the scope of these things, go back to Sunday Night Football. You had a fan hit DeAndre Hopkins and shoving players.
Yeah.
Take him to the gulag. Take that guy out back and tar and feather him. You got to be able to, you have to take behavior like this and you got to beat it out of the sport. So I'm totally okay with this. I think him being a complete knucklehead and a moron was so costly to the Eagles. Thank God. I mean, for them, it didn't cost them, even more, but just a absolute boneheaded move by him.
Definitely. Got to do better. And you almost cost your team the football game there, because I'm going to tell you right now, outside of him, if that's all you got, it's going to be a long season against good football teams. Those corners were out there fighting for their lives out there, and you go and you trade a 5th and a 6th round pick for a running back. and you got corners that are out there the whole night. Help me.
And
Like,
this is DJ. I saw that and I immediately thought of you. I mean, give me this Tank Bigsby. I mean, what is this? What's the appeal? I think Tank Bigsby's got some stuff, but like, give it to me. What do you got?
He's got some stuff in him. He's got some ability to not only run between the tackles, physical, but he also is another guy who can catch the ball out of the backfield and make people miss. I think you see like Gainwell is probably the odd man out because I thought Will Shipley had an excellent preseason. And he showed his capabilities on the football field against the Dallas Cowboys.
I thought so.
I was not surprised by Will Shipley. So you add another guy in that mix that can do some of the same things, a little bit heftier guy who can, run between the tackles. I think it's a good move, but at the same time, you need to be looking for corner help and you need to be looking for rotation guys because the guys you had in there after Jalen Carter,
nope.
That ain't it.
Nope.
And I said it.
Yeah.
I said it when they made those moves and decided to let those guys go. Everybody glossed over the fact that, it's still the Eagles. Yes, but those rotational guys matter. They mattered within that defense because that was a key on how the big guys got to keep fresh because they were able to rotate guys in and keep the main guys, the starters, very, very, fresh. So now these guys are having to play a little bit more, and the guys behind them they ain't that great. So that's what I would be focusing on. I expect Howie to make some type of move here in the next couple of weeks. Let's say they come out here in the next 2 weeks and the defense isn't looking that great. They're a smart organization. They're at the top of the NFC for a reason. So I expect them to make those moves, but I would have not gone with running back right now. That is not your priority. Looking at the Detroit Lions, first off, I think everyone is over the moon about what Micah Parsons did. He had 1 tackle and 1 sack. He did what a football player is supposed to do. Okay. I understand he takes up space. I understand he is somebody that needs to be accounted for. But if you're trying to say he had a big time effect on the football game, he didn't. He didn't at all. Not to me. That offense was still able to move and will still be able to move the football. I'm concerned about this Detroit Lions defense.
Yeah. No, I think you're right, man. I mean, the first thing that kind of came out to me when watching this was it's just kind of your first instinct was, all right, is Ben Johnson being out of there? Is that killing this offense that badly? I don't know. I mean, we've seen really flat performances in week 1. And, part of me wants to chalk this up a little bit to that. Just in the same way that I'm not gonna start planning a Super Bowl parade route for the Colts, right? Like we see this every year, right? The preseason really is, the preseason has become nothing. And really it's kind of become the first 2 weeks of the NFL season is what the preseason is. Guys they're just not getting the reps they need to be sharp for week 1 anymore. Look, this defense, man, it doesn't help. Terrion Arnold was ruled out with a groin injury. And that cornerbacks and groin injuries are a peanut butter and jelly sandwich combo from hell. I mean, they will stick around for eternity.
That's Marshawn Lattimore.
Yes. God. Excuse me. I'm dealing with a little bit of a cold recovery here. So if I sound like I was gargling a bunch of bricks earlier, I do apologize. But you're right. Marshawn Lattimore. Ask D'Angelo Hall from years past.
Exactly.
D'Angelo Hall spent probably the last third of his career on the IR with a groin injury. But yeah, look, I'm gonna. Here's what I'm gonna do. Because I know we got a comment about. I don't want to talk about the Lions. I'm gonna make this real easy for you. I'm gonna chalk it up to week 1. I'm gonna put a pin in it, and we're gonna come back in week 3, and we're gonna have a real honest conversation about the Lions. A real honest one. I think for now they've probably earned a little bit of a benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But for me that was ugly. I mean, my God, was that ugly?
Yeah, it was. And hopefully that's not going to be the mainstay for them. Looking at Sunday Night Football with the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens just up the road there, up 95 That's in right. Baltimore. Bro, another double-digit comeback loss for
them Buffalo Bills. Like I know this is, isn't it wild to see? And for me, I couldn't even believe when I saw, like, if you were to tell me, hey, Derrick Henry music is playing at the end of this game, he just needs to run the ball between the tackles and this game is over, I would have given you my E-Trade account. I'd have given you my routing number. I'd have given you my firstborn and said, I can promise you I'm going to get those back. I will give them all of you if he fumbles this ball. And he did. And it was just like, oh my God. But it's one of those things in football. Football is so, hockey has this a little bit, but hockey is such a lucky freak weird sport in this way.
Yeah.
Football has an intangible, I can't measure it. I can't tell you why, but I can feel it in my heart. The Bills are going to win this game. And it's like that ball hit the turf and you just were like, they're going to win. They're going to win this game. I don't know why. I don't know how this is going to happen. They had to go down and score and get a 2-point conversion and then get another stop and then get the ball back and then fight. Like, you just knew that was happening.
Yeah.
What a classic game. I mean, what an absolute classic game. And, for the Ravens, it's kind of funny because I don't think it's for the Ravens, it's a devastating loss. It's a devastating way to start your season. It sits in your head for a while for a lot of these guys. It sits in a locker room for a while for a lot of these guys. And that's okay. Like, that's fine. And by the way, DJ, like, we've been in NFL locker rooms. Like, that's not hyperbole.
No.
You can see it on these guys' face. I mean, there were times I go into a locker room after, the Skins got walked up and down the field, dog walked for the 8th week in a row. And you would think as fans, like, there's no one in the stands, no one cares. These guys care immensely, and they take it. I mean, some of these guys really just take all of these things in. I'll say this, with all of that said for the Ravens, I still feel fantastic about both of these teams. I mean, I think if you are a Bills fan, I think you feel amazing knowing you've got arguably the best quarterback in the sport. You've got an elite tier offense. I think I'd be a little worried about the defense. That defense was I'm getting dog walked up and down the field left and right.
Yeah.
And if you're the Ravens, you've got the capability to put up points. You have the capability of doing what you want offensively as well. But it's the closing factor, and you've got to have that. And unfortunately, this has kind of marred Lamar Jackson for a while now at this point. Is this kind of, dude, can we close this out? Are we able in big moments to put put the cleat on their throat and end it? They just weren't able to do it. They haven't been able to do that in the playoffs. They obviously haven't been able to do it in the playoffs in recent years. And it was kind of a sad thing to kick off the season with a game. Like, think of the way that they lost with the Mark Andrews drop in the playoffs, and then you get that rematch on Sunday Night Football and you blow a lead on the road. It's brutal. But again, big picture wise, I mean, you're going to see that matchup again. I think that's happening.
I'm going to go this route. I don't think it's a big deal at all. I think this is something that probably needed to happen because you know what happened last year? You lost to these guys in the playoffs when you needed it most. You can't. All this regular season winning against your rivals is great, but if you can't finish it in playoffs, it's a big problem. You know how that goes. You play a team 3 times, it's real hard to beat them 3 times in a row. So, especially when they're in your division, they know you very well. So I'm not too concerned about it. This is something I feel like needs to happen and probably will help them down the road. They'll look back on this and be like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. It's week 1.
Yeah.
They're in a division that's, not as strong as the NFC. So I don't expect too many issues with that at all.
That's hard to do, DJ, too. I mean, that's a very difficult thing to do. Sunday Night Football, prime time, you're kicking off the season on the road against best team in football. That's not easy.
That's not easy at all. Is this a 1-week wonder for Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I think it probably is. If I'm being honest with you, it probably is. I don't know. I think there is a different, there's a different sense of watching them. Like, there's almost like a piece to Aaron Rodgers that obviously was not there with the Jets. I mean, and this is just the Jets organization. Anyone that walks in there has this problem. There did seem to be this sense of calm and this sense of almost like familiarity. Like they kind of had all played. Watching that game, it felt like to me that Aaron Rodgers had played on the Steelers for 5 years. They seemed pretty smooth. Again, four touchdowns in their debut, which is really, really good. I think the only thing that probably leaves me a little concerned about the Steelers is they really, really did get away from the run big time. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was throwing it all over the place. And it makes me just kind of wonder, like, is this their new identity? I'm not quite sure what, like, I don't know how sustainable their kind of offensive style is, but again, I think this is gonna be one of those things where it's hard to break down week one each year and not feel like I gotta see more of this.
Yeah.
It was just such a different Steelers identity than we've been used to seeing. I mean, the Najee Harris years and all the years where they always have been able to run the ball really, really well. And again, with Justin Fields, with the Mason Rudolphs, like they had to run the ball well. They didn't really have that weapon at QB. And now they do, and they came out swinging the other direction. So I think, honestly, to me, it's going to be interesting, man. I guess to go back to your question, is this a 1 week wonder thing? Maybe. I think it could be. I'm going to leave the answer out there hanging just a little bit to give me another week. Ben Skoranek, like, does he succeed on other franchises? I don't know, but he was fantastic. And that's why I'm saying, I'm like, I don't know. I don't really know how good is Ben Skoranek? How good are the tools that Aaron Rodgers has to work with? I really have no idea. I know what Aaron Rodgers has done in the past and what he's capable of. If he can get to that, at least maybe 60 to 70% of that again, and they decide offensively, this offense is running through his arm. He's not going to be handing it off to Breece Hall. He is going to be taking over. Maybe this is a different spot for Aaron Rodgers. Maybe the Steelers are legit.
Maybe. I'm on the wait and see approach as well. Definitely a good win, but I got to give Justin Fields some props here. He played quarterback.
Yes.
There was a lot of issues last year with him in Pittsburgh, and I said it after seeing him in Atlanta last year. They were giving him pretty much 3 or 4 reads, and this time he was sitting in the pocket. He was making throws from within the pocket, doing what he does with his legs as well. I mean, he kept them in that football game. If his defense could have gotten just one stop, they'd win.
Yeah.
So it is week one, but I am very impressed from what I saw from Justin Fields, especially from what I saw from him all last year within the confines of the offense there in Pittsburgh. So good deal for him. Very, very proud of him in that regard. And, I think that people, we will look back in about midseason and realize that the Jets are going to be better than what many people would have thought. I don't think this year, Drag Race Mayhem, that this is going to be a guy whose career is going to get ruined over there. I think you got at least a coach in the building that knows what he's doing. He's been around the block. He knows what a quality organization in the locker room is supposed to look like. Yeah. And I expect to see that from him, going forward here. So,
yeah. And I mean, that's what, that's what I believe Ford Purley said it in the comments there. Aaron Glenn is intensity. There's no intensity on the defense without, Aaron Glenn. I mean, that's who he is. This is what he is going to. And the thing about Aaron Glenn that you got to love if you're a Jets fan is he is not a guy who's going to take anyone's BS. He is going to step in there. He is going to make that Jets team his identity or he's out. Yeah. He's the kind of guy who is not going to be told what to do or what to say. He's going to go in there and put his stamp all over this team. And honestly, I mean, you got to feel really, really good about that hire too. So, yeah, look, I do agree, Drag Race Man. The Jets are where QBs go. To you, that is a QB graveyard, but I think you got to feel pretty good about Aaron Glenn and the chances going forward.
Yeah, definitely. Last one before I let you get out of here. The Indianapolis Colts, and I'm going to put the article that I wrote on Heavy about what needed to happen with Daniel Jones. How I watched this kid since, young man now, since his time in college, and I saw him up close and personal with the at the Senior Bowl, and I said it from the jump. What needed to happen is you needed to go back to that fountain of youth, and you needed to find the formula that was given to him when he was in New York.
Yep.
And you have a running game that is more than capable of doing the things necessary to win ball games. You give him an offensive line, which it looks like this offensive line is much improved.
Yep.
And if you can just have some sort of defense, you're going to have an opportunity to see this cat get a win or two, or maybe even carry your franchise a little bit. It's not that hard. It's not that hard there. And for everybody who talked about it, not only did he have Mike Kafka in the deals of utilizing his skills to the best and kind of hiding his weaknesses, he had Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
You've got Jonathan Taylor there. You need to have that man running the football, keeping this thing balanced, and you won't have any issues. That's the article there on heavy.com about the Indianapolis Colts and what I thought about the formula that needed to happen for Daniel Jones to be successful. I don't think it's about, everybody wants to talk about quarterback whisperers and all that. No, it's all about scheme and knowing what your quarterback is capable of doing and what he's not capable of doing, and doing that.
Yeah. No, there's no. By the way, I have been a Daniel Jones guy from the jump as well. I mean, I've actually met Daniel Jones a few times. One personally through a family friend, and a couple funny things about Daniel Jones. He's an insane basketball player. Him and his brothers. He comes from a lineage of North Carolina basketball players. He's a tall dude, huge hands, crazy athlete. He's got two brothers, and apparently those pickup basketball games in the offseason are intense. The thing about Daniel Jones that I think speaks the loudest to him is that, think about being a rookie. I want you to just go back to the moment in MetLife Stadium when he was drafted and half that stadium booed.
Yeah.
New York is an impossible market as a rookie to come in and take over. And by the way, whose shoes was he filling?
Manning.
Eli freaking Manning. I mean, Eli Manning, they would rename the Empire State Building the Eli Building if they could.
Yep.
Up there. And, how did he handle it? I mean, first of all, he produced. He actually had some very, very solid years up there in New York. And he's able to do so under, the end of Coughlin and just into some horrible coaches. Really just terrible coaches. And that's kind of, all of that's to say, I think Daniel Jones in New York was cast aside because he was in New York. I think in any other city, Daniel Jones would have gotten a better draw of things. And to me, what you saw on Sunday was him at his best. Daniel Jones, think about in that QB sneak. Like I said, he's very tall, big, strong hands, really physical guy. 2 rushing, touchdowns in short yardage situations. He can do that. He is really strong and he's really tough. Sending the ball all over the place. Michael Pittman and Tyler Warren and Alec Pierce. Guys just all over the place. He's slinging the ball all over the yard. Look, do I think this is the second coming of our Lord? No. Do I think do I think this is Super Bowl bound? Do I think they're playoff bound? No. But I do think it comes to show that I think the margins in football are way thinner than we think. The difference between an offense looking like the Giants did, or an offense looking like the Colts did under Anthony Richardson, and an offense looking like they did on Sunday under Daniel Jones is really thin. It's a really thin margin. Sometimes it's just quicker decisions. Sometimes it's just having a better knack of where to go. It's not being reactive. It's being proactive. I think that's what Daniel Jones showed you. And I think if you're the Colts fan, I think you got to feel good. I think you got to feel really good. I think you have to feel like, hey, this is somebody that might not just be the Phillip Rivers plug and play of the past. This could be somebody who could come in here and could actually, put a dent in this thing.
Yeah. And I think it still gives Anthony Richardson a time to maturate the way it should have been in the first place. He was a raw talent coming out of college. Everybody knew it. And if you were going to play him, you had to make sure that you had all the pieces around him to maximize his skill set and what skill set he had, for a year. So I think this is good for both parties. In a division that is really wide the hell open. Tennessee is in a rebuild. I think they have qualities that could win, but they're starting a rookie quarterback. We're still wondering whether the offensive line with the Texans will hold up enough to give C.J. Stroud the time to be the C.J. Stroud of year one. And looks like Liam Cohen has got this group rolling, and he's already got this group walking around and on the field carrying his identity of toughness and physicality. So, if they can continue and if Daniel Jones can continue to have success, they're going to have a shot to win the division because it is wide the hell open. So
it is.
Well, before we let you go, Conor, let everybody know where they can find your work at and where they can follow you at.
Well, listen, man, you got us locked in on sportsjourney.com. Super, super proud. DJ is all over on SportsJourney. It's myself and DJ and Bob and Sean Ouellette just do incredible work. SportsJourney is going to be that spot for Commanders fans. If you're in the DC area, you're locked in on the Commanders, you got to have SportsJourney on your home tab. Make sure you're checking in there. We got our daily content up after further reviews coming out this week. And then our Burgundy and Gold post-game live show. After every Commanders game, DJ jumps in with us every week. We have an absolute blast. We are live on Twitter at ConorForce_. Anywhere you can find us, we'll be there. But DJ, so proud of the work you're doing here, man. Keep killing it, and you know where to find us.
And it'll be on all of the Not Bland Show channels too for you guys to view. It will be a late night Thursday night. Hopefully, it will be a late night after victory.
I think so, brother. I think so. Thanks for having me on, brother. Great to see you.
Yes, sir. Conor Forrest, everybody. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to keep it moving, and we're going to have the Mack Attack. Mighty Mack on. We're going to talk some NHRA championship drag racing as we move into the playoffs right after this word. Ooh-wee, it's that time. It is that time. Talking Funny Cars with Buddy Hall will be back. Season 2 begins September 10th on all the NHRA Fast channels. It's going to be a good year. It's going to be some really good stuff coming out. And remember, this is the Telly Award-winning Talking Funny Cars with Buddy Hall. So get your schedule right. Get everything squared away. It's about ready to be Talking Funny Cars with Buddy Hall night. It will be watching on September 10th is when we'll find that. All right? Without further ado, we're going to have on our guy, the man they call Mighty Mack. What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Not much, man. You called me Mack Attack. I was like, wait, when did I become Mike McIntyre Jr.? Come on now. It's good, man. We're countdown bound. Still getting past that post-U.S. Nationals depression of the big go being over with. But, heading to Reading here in about 48 hours, and we got a whole lot more to look forward to because this countdown just started. There's a whole lot more to look forward to as this countdown continues, and then all the silly season news of the rumors that are already flying around that we're still waiting to hear the news drop about it. So a lot to look forward to here these next coming months.
Yeah, it really is. First, I'll talk about what we were part of earlier today. Leah is back in 2026. I mean,
no surprise.
Yes. I mean, let's be honest here. It's not really a surprise to people who already were listening to when this whole thing happened and he had to get in the seat. He made it clear. He made it clear in Gainesville that this was her seat and he would get out whenever she was ready.
He made it clear it was a 2-year deal too. He said it from the jump. It's like, hey, this is a 2-year deal. She'll be back in 26. I'm going to get out of the car. So, I mean, that's the thing that really drove me up a wall, especially during the second half of this year. If you start getting these questions like, oh, are you going to get a second top field drag? So you're going to fight to get out of the car. It's like, no, he said from the moment he got in this car, this is Leah's car. Her name's on the door. This is her crew. These are her guys. Whenever she's ready, he's getting the hell out. The only reason he's probably staying in the seat for as long as he is now is because of the fact, hey, He's leading the points championship. Why would you get out of it now when you're running this hot?
Exactly. It's going to be cool to see her back out there. And I know there's some other news out there that's going to be dropping, I guess, Friday. So that'll be interesting. That's what Galvin said on WFO. So I'm not sure what that is at all. I went through this whole thing here, and I'm going to start in Top Fuel. I went through the last 6 races and looked at everybody's round win-loss record that's in the top 5. When you start in Top Fuel, Tony was 9-6, had no wins, had 1 runner-up, and he had 1 first-round exit. Sean Langdon, 12-5, 1 win, 1 first-round exit in these last 6 races. Doug Coletta, 13-4 with 2 wins. Justin Ashley, 14-3 with 3 wins. Brittany, 7-5, 1 runner-up, 2 first-round exits. Tony had some help, but Tony got in because of his mid-regular season success. Almost got nipped by Sean and Doug, but who do you think out of that top 5 is really going in with a lot of momentum?
That's tough because you talk about the midseason helping Tony. I think it's more than that. You look at the very beginning of the season. I mean, the biggest story that I followed with him was his first-round record. He went all the way until Sonoma, mid-June or even like mid-June, yeah, literally, without getting a first-round loss. And you look at the history of the sport, you look at the history of these championship battles, countdown or not, those first-round win-loss records are really what decides these titles. That's what denied Ron Capps a championship. That's really what helped John Forrest in the latter half of the season is how strong he was in the beginning half. So those first round wins are probably the most critical you could have because you can get 13 win lights, but if you're out of the first round in every other race, you're going to finish 5th in the championship. That's just the way points racing is. So with Tony, his consistency is something to behold. The only person that's even better than him is Sean Langdon. I think Sean Langdon is probably like everybody says, he's one of the best pure-blooded drag racers in the world. He's one of the top guys. You get him going, whether it's penalty issues, rule discrepancies, you fire him up, he gets better than he already is. I think it's going to be really between those 2 guys. Doug is that guy that's just kind of lurking in the background. He looked really good hanging in Indianapolis, but then it just all fell apart. Justin Ashley was probably the biggest surprise of them all. I mean, Brittany Forrest running 3:43. I didn't think it was going to happen at Indy, but it wasn't a surprise at all that she was the one to do it. I was surprised to see Sean go 3:40. The only thing I was surprised about with Brittany was the fact that it happened at Indy of all places. But for Justin, he's probably going to be the one to look out for the most because I would argue Justin's race day on Monday is probably the best he's had in his entire career out of every win up to that point. Talk about a 34, 35, and a 36 light, and then beating Tony Stewart on a whole shot with a 29 in the finals of the biggest race of the year. The championship has been the thing that's really killed him, this countdown run. But to have that kind of momentum entering the last part of the season for this championship chase in that points reset, I mean, Justin's probably the one guy I'm looking at as like, he could be the one to steal this from Tony and Sean. He can be right there, come right behind him, smack him in the back of the head, and then steal the championship at Pomona.
Yeah, I think so too. The biggest problem that's been with Justin is he's lost in first round during the countdown.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's been his killer. And he also, I felt, which hasn't worked for him because he, over the last 2 seasons, he had been hot all year, got to the countdown, and somebody blew out the candle. Yep. So I think this reverse here coming in hot now, I think is going to benefit him a lot. And him and his team seem to be on top of their game. The question is, though, the cool weather comes, you've got to find at least a 70, at least if you want to, you need to find a 69 or better. That's just the name of the game. And there's a lot of people in that top 5 that can do that. They haven't shown that they can consistently do that, but he makes up for that by his reaction times.
You know, you look at the people who can run those 69s and 70s, probably the best team that does it by every single team in the sport is probably Coletta. They're the guys, Alan Johnson, every single one of those guys. They dig down deep, and they know from the years of experience they've had working together that when you get the right weather conditions, they can hit a 69 and a 70. Tony Stewart the same way. He can hit a 69 or a 70, but the thing that Tony's talked about in the past is they'll be aiming for a 72, and then they run a 68. So I'll go up to him and say, hey, you're at a 69. It's pretty damn good. It's like, yeah, but we weren't aiming for that. We didn't want to run a 69. That's the problem. So for that, I think Coletta, if you're talking about just pure consistency, getting the runs right where you need it to be, Sean Langdon and Doug are probably the top two guys that you're going to look at. For Justin Ashley, I mean, it's the same way. It's just, if it's not something, what you think it's going to be is something else. Because you talk about, first round win lights being the thing that kills them. And then you go to Pomona of last year. And probably the number one thing that threw him off his game was the fact that a plane crash happened right as he was about to enter the water box. Yeah. And me, Kevin, and Brody, we've all posted our pictures from that whole incident. But we're like, he's right there. The biggest race of the season leading up to now. And we are like 5 seconds from it happening. A plane crashes, and now he has to sit for 2 hours. And then everything changes for him. So, I mean, it's almost like he's kind of taken that role of Ron Capps, where just something has to happen that just gives him that character development that says, you're not winning the championship just yet. But when he does, it's going to be that whole like kicking the door open where we saw like with Gage Herrera, with Doug Coletta, with Ron Capps. When they get that first win, or even Austin Prock and Indy, when you get that first win, the rest just come flooding in, and then he's going to become one of the best in the sport.
Yeah, I think so. Look at that funny car. This has kind of been a runaway. She's a runaway. 21-1. This man, Austin Prock, has been over the last 6 races. 5. That's right. That's 5 wins he's had over the last 6 races. Jack, everybody else is pretty way back. Jack, 12-6, 2 runner-ups, no wins. Matt Hagan, 11-5, 1 win, 1 runner-up, and 1 first-round exit. Ron Capps is 9-6, 1 runner-up, no wins. And Paul Lee, boy, it went. What did they say on The Simpsons? Rock bottom. 3-6, 0 wins, 3 first-round exits in the last 6 races. This is Austin's to lose. I hate to say, this is kind of, as a lot of our other media colleagues have said, this is like John Force in the 80s type run here.
You look at Austin Prock, and the number one thing I can note of him is he reminds me, not just the way he drives, not just the way he scores these wins, but in his interviews too, he just reminds me a lot of those John Force clips you see in the 90s. When he gets fired up, he turns the exact same way that he was, where he gets fired up, starts rambling, loses control of what he's trying to get his point across to. And Brittany's the same way. Like when she ran that 3:43 at Indy and she gets out of the car and does the interview, you realize right then and there, oh yeah, that's John's daughter, all right. Prock's the same way. It's like he's not a force, but he's been around him enough to where whatever John has that gets him the way he is, Prock started to adopt it. And I would agree with that. If just in pure stats, Prock is the runaway favorite. He is the guy to beat. This is his championship to lose. The number one thing that I would note is for Jack Beckman. So we're going to keep it within the JFR camp. Jack had that crash back in Epping, lost the chassis that he had up to that point. I think he was leading the points too. He was running door to door with Prock, and it was a JFR dogfight for this championship. From that moment on, they ran, if I'm correct, the chassis that it was built for John. It was John's backup chassis. They ran that to the end of the season. They brought that car back out, ran it up till Indy, and it wasn't until after the U.S. Nationals on that Monday test that they brought that car back out, shook it down, got the setup they needed for it, and then they said, okay, this is going to be our regular chassis heading into the countdown. And the thing that I would find the most interesting is the fact you look at Jack. Yes, he hasn't had a win since Chicago. What's been so interesting to watch with Jack, even with a chassis that's not built around him, that he might not be 100% comfortable with, he's still getting number 1 qualifiers left and right. He's getting to the final round. The only person he's beating him is his teammate. Now he has his own chassis. He's back in his own car. They feel confident. They're coming off of a final round at Indianapolis. They have all this momentum running high. Now with the points reset, I think Jack Beckman is going to be one of those guys that people are going to look over and see Austin Prock is like, oh, we're in the Prock era. I think Jack Beckman has a really, really strong opportunity to come out here and steal this one. For Matt Hagan, Um, uh, it's hard because that team is. I would still say in the rebuilding process. Mike Knutson, hell of a tuner, hell of a guy. That crew, you can see the energy within that group has changed from when Dickey was leading that team, and they've talked about it at length also. But it's the same way we talk about in Top Fuel. They just don't have the consistency. Matt Hagan, hell of a wheelman. That team is a hell of a crew. We know what they're capable of. It's just with the points reset, with the struggles that they've shown, and the inconsistency to get it to the final round. I think this is going to be an all JFR battle for the championship, and it's going to come down to whether or not Jack can get that early season momentum that he had at the start of the year.
Yeah, that's going to be important because, I mean, those cars are pretty much, I mean, if you said that we would say, we have been told cars like that don't run identical, yet those two cars are running identical. That's a rarity. If they can find a way to get that back, I think they do have a shot. But I do agree with Drag Race Mayhem. It's really going to come down to him being a little bit better on the tree, because at the end of the day, I've been saying it since about 3 or 4, probably about 6 races ago. Proc's on demon time, you're going to have to find a way to match that intensity level by a long shot. And I agree with you with Matt Hagan. I think the team is coming together, and I think eventually they will become more consistent. I think right now, though, they're going to give you a fighting chance, but right now the people in front of you are just that much better. That's just all it is to it.
And sorry, this was like one last thing I wanted to add because I just remembered it. One of the questions I asked Proc heading into Indy was, has this season been more fun for you guys? And he said at the time he didn't really agree with that. He said, we're still taking it seriously. He didn't want to make it seem like they're just goofing off. And then after he won Indy, he admitted that I think Brittany and somebody else, one of the crew guys, went to dinner and he said, I don't know what it is about this group. He said everything just feels, and he didn't want to use this word, but almost perfect. This group meshes well. They get along together. They have fun. They cut back. They're loose. They're relaxing. Austin Proc is as confident as he's ever been, and this team is as much of a unit as any team that's in there. I think that is the most dangerous combination you can have, because when you're getting along, when you're meshing well, when you know your job and you know your role and you know what you're supposed to do and you do it well, sky is the limit for these guys. Especially for Proc's guys. You go in the pits and you watch these guys and you listen to them talk on a test day or a race day or qualifying. They're like brothers. It's incredible of how well connected this team is, especially for how long they've been, how successful they've been. They could have jumped anywhere else and been paid probably a heck of a lot more than they are right now. But I mean, this team is probably the most dangerous they've been up to this point, and it's going to be a challenge for anybody to try and dethrone them heading into the rest of this season and even into 2026.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they carry that momentum, not just to the end of this season, but seeing how it turns out beginning in 2026. Pro Stock has been an all KB show until it wasn't here at the end. Dallas 18-5, 1 win, 3 runner-ups. He was your regular season champ. Greg Anderson 13-4, 3 wins, 1 first round exit. Matt Hartford 7-6, 1 runner-up, 2 first round exits. Corey Reed 6-5. He has 1 win, but has 3 first round exits. And Aaron Stanfield, double Aaron, 9-6, 1 runner-up. I'm not going to really talk about 1 and 2. Erica Enders has found the horsepower that they've been looking for. And all of a sudden, she finds herself in the top 10. Could we see a colossal, I've just punched my hand through the grave and I'm digging my way out to come out and possibly nip these boys and get a championship at the end of the year?
It's really funny you mention that because there's a Robert Height diecast right up there. It was 2 years prior to that, but still 2007. The thing that's interesting about that scenario is the fact that I think if you asked Erica as well, yes, the team has come a long way since where they were in Gainesville, Arizona, and Pomona. But when you look at the time slips, they're still 200ths off. And you might look at that as like, oh, that's not a big deal. In a class that comes down to 2/1000 of a second on a reaction time, that 200th might as well be 2 seconds. She's there. She is like knocking on the door right behind them, but it's that little tiny difference that gives Greg Anderson and Dallas Glenn the advantage, especially with how lethal. I mean, 00 Dallas. The only thing that can really beat KB Titan is themselves, which is what we saw play out in Indy this weekend or last weekend, because that should have been Greg Anderson's to win. He was owning the entire field. He had it covered. I believe he broke the track record twice. He swept the Mission Foods, if I'm correct. He swept the regular season championship. He came close to one-upping Proc, but when I saw the tire shake in the second round, I was like, oh, this is Dallas's. And then Dallas red light. I was like, he rolled straight through the beams. I'm like, wow, this just opened a door for Erica. And then when Erica did that against Matt Hartfield, I was like, oh, this is gonna get nuts. And sure enough, you look on the start line and they're going ballistic. They could have won a championship, and they probably would have had a more like tame reaction than that, because you look at that reaction, that wasn't just Erica, that was Troy's team, that was Aaron's team, that was Greg's team. There were people from every single group of that car. Like, one of the things that's interesting, I got buddies that work over on that team. There were people from Troy's car. They DNQ'd on Sunday, and they were working on Erica's car on Monday. That's how this group is. They all merged together. I think if you would have asked them, they'll openly say, we're not back, but Erica is. Erica has turned this car around. Jag is right there. Greg had that one in Sonoma. He's kind of there, but they swapped cars with Erica, so now Erica's driving that car, and that's really helping them. But, I mean, Erica has the opportunity to do it, but it's those last 200th of a second that's really going to make this difference for her to get that. Whether or not they found it in this 1 or 2 off week that they've had is the big question. If they roll into Reading and they're able to tie it with them, because right now the way it looks is she's able to beat Dallas, but they can't beat Greg. That is the last knock that they have, is they're able to beat him on reaction time or just pure pace, but Greg just has that little bit more that's keeping him ahead. So if they can find that little bit of a gap, then sky's the limit, and we could have a one-up on Robert Height's 09 championship run. But, man, it's just that 200 is going to be so hard to find with so little time left. But, I mean, hats off to them. This season turnaround is something to behold. This has been incredible to watch.
Yeah, it has been. And I meant to say, Blake, doing great today. Doing great. Look, I'm going to go the other route. And I'm going to say that there's something that has been missing. Now that the car has come around, she's been able to go some rounds. She's got some wins. Is her lack of confidence. I think she lost a little bit of her confidence in all of this, along with the stresses of teammates going through health issues. I think that win was huge in Indy, huge. And I think the 200s that they may be missing, give her a race car and she's going to find a way to win. And I think that's the most dangerous part out of it all, is that if she can get her starting line game back to where it's been, to championship form, there can't be hiccups with Dallas Glenn and Greg Anderson during this time. There cannot be any hiccups, because what's going to end up happening is going to come down to Pomona again. And I don't think they want to be in a fight, let alone with themselves, but then adding in Erica Enders. Yeah, that could be a recipe for disaster, and a recipe for, wow, history was just made. She came back from the deep, dark depths of the grave to get a championship. So I think they should be proceed with caution, yep. I should say.
They're definitely, like, these pro stocks have rear view mirrors. They usually don't use them. I think this is the one time that Greg and Dallas are going to be looking in the rear view mirrors, because she flashed in the high beams coming up I-70 at 100 miles an hour. If you aren't paying attention, she's going to run your ass over. And that's just how she is. She is one of the best racers in the history of NHRA for a reason. I talked about the rumors heading to 2026. There are some major rumors surrounding her head. And with this all going on, if she's able to one-up Greg and get that championship back in her hands, sky's the limit for her. I mean, it's just been incredible to see what she's been able to do. But, I mean, the way you can look at this, too, is we see this – and we're going to Gage Ferris shirt, of course, which I know we're going to get into in a second. Gage always has that ability to where he could ride comfortably, but when he really needs it, he's able to find that 2,000 or 100th or 200th just based off of how he rides the bike or that little bit of a setup change or a special tire. I don't think we've seen the best Greg Anderson has to offer. I think there might have been – I don't want to accuse them of sandbag. I think there's a little bit more left that they've been holding back on in case this happens. So I think there might be a little bit left in the tank, but again, Erica is that big what-if scenario. I think we have the opportunity to where if she doesn't even win the championship, we're talking about a 10th to 2nd after being 15th at the beginning of the year. She has the opportunity to make a lot of history this season, and it's going to be absolutely incredible to see what she's going to be able to do. If they win that championship, I don't know how you're going to stop this team from emptying every single bar in the LA County. It's going to be incredible if they're able to pull that off.
Yeah, definitely. And Dave, you're 100% right. Yeah. Erica just sat up.
She sat up. Yeah.
Just sat up. So
you hear that bell, and you see Randy Orton's eyes pop out of his skull. That's what the rest of the field just saw.
Exactly. Pro Stock Motorcycle. Gage has been, talk of the town and the cream of the crop, but Richard Gatson has found that as well. He needed the win to break through, and now that's out of the way. You see him. I think he's a lot more comfortable now, especially when you get into the semifinal and final round. I think before the win, sometimes it's not really in your conscience, but because you've been here before and you've come up short in the final round, maybe you get a little tight. And now that that's finally out of the way and he got the first win, well, the second one was easier to come. I think once you get that stuff out of the way and break through, now you kind of all the pressure or the subconscious pressure is off and you're able to perform a lot better. I think this is a Vance and Hines show. The only reason why I say this is, yes, John Hall has a heck of a bike, probably the best one in MSR right now. But there's too many mistakes that happen with all three of them, really, especially John and Matt. Matt is on his own accord. I don't mind the bravado, but you can't let the bravado cause you to be late on the tree. You can't, okay? You can do all the antics you want. You can talk all the trash you want. You can do whatever you want. I love it. But I need focus. And in the last 2 years, it's been his championship to come up and try to steal, and stupid things happen. Malfunctions at the starting line, mechanical things, little things too. Those little things mean a lot, and those things have to change if they want to have an opportunity to win the championship. And I just think it's a 2-horse race right now.
I mean, yeah, the best bet all season long was making it to the semis and hopefully being able to force an error or have the best run of the season against Richard Gage. Now you add in this unknown variable of Braden Davis, and I'm not going to sit here and say that the only reason they bring him in is so he can run blocker against the MSR bikes, because I've said this in my videos, I've said this on social media posts, I've said to the people who will listen, I think he is that next Gage Herrera. I think the riding style, the mannerisms that he has, the talent that he has is on the same level of what Gage was showing when he first showed up. But, I mean, now you don't only have to worry about running into them in the semis. Now you have a chance of running into Braden Davis in the second round. And with how good that bike is, I mean, he's going to start killing people out here, especially if Vance and Hines does, or any of his sponsors they've been able to find. I know I've asked him in the past his plans for 2026, and it's still all up in the air based on finances heading into the offseason. If he can run the rest of these last 6 races, I mean, he's going to cause a lot of headaches for the Buells because he is just that good. And we saw it at Indy. You had 3 of the 4 semifinalists all being orange Vance and Hines Suzukis. And I think it's going to be that same story because these guys are just unbelievable riders. Those are probably nothing against Matt. Those are probably the 3 best riders in the sport right now. Gage Herrera is on another level of what we've seen him in the past. Richard Gatson, this is the most comfortable, the most confident we've seen him. He finally got that first win off his back. And like you said, you don't really try to think about that, but it's always in the back of your mind. You think of like Dale Earnhardt, he finally got that monkey off his back, and he would openly say, like, where's that monkey? I don't love him now. And now that first win happens, and now he's just going back to final rounds. He's contending for wins. I genuinely think with this points reset that Richard has a shot of winning a championship. I think he's right there with him. That bike, he has it tuned. He has it figured out. Eddie and Andrew did a phenomenal job finding those little things that held that bike back, because they can say it all they want. There are small little differences in how those chassis perform, and they finally found what was holding Richard back, and now he's right there with them. And he has Eddie Krawick right there on top of the bike, helping him tune it, helping him stage it, and also beating him over the head when he makes mistakes. So he's not going to make it again. He's a fast learner. He's a fast adapter. He's one of the nicest guys in the pits, and he's one of the most down-to-heart guys you can want. Yeah. I love Gage, but I really, really, really hope to see Richard be able to run with him for that championship, because if he is able to pull it off and get that first title, man, I don't think there's going to be a dry eye in the house if we see him on the top end.
For sure. And with Braden Davis, it's too many mistakes. It's the little mistakes, too, that have cost him here. So it's going to be an interesting thing and an interesting playoffs. So to start the playoffs, it's what we do around here. It is picks time. We are going into Maple Grove, what is it called, the Nitro Fish deal here. It's sponsored by Nitro Fish right there at Maple Grove. I know this is really, I can see Drag Race Mayhem smiling from ear to ear. In Top Fuel, your 2023 event winner was Antron Brown. We are going into 2025. They have this is an old fact sheet, ladies and gentlemen. That is not cool. It's probably supposed to say 2024. NHRA changed that. So it's Antron Brown. So in Top Fuel, who do you have winning the first playoff race of the 2025 season?
I think I have a better shot of picking the right Mega Million numbers, to be honest with you. I mean, oh my God. It's the thing, you don't know. These guys, the way that they are, I mean, Tony Stewart, we talked about it, that inability to find that pure consistency that the Colettas are, Coletta as well. Oh man, that's a tough one. I'm probably going to just keep the momentum rolling. I think Justin Ashley, when you get this team hot, when you get them confident, they get really, really hard to beat, but it just takes that one mistake to really make them fall off that pedestal. But we've seen it last year and the year before that. When the countdown starts, these guys are ready to go. I could see Justin Ashley coming in there and stealing this win and really starting to count down off on the right note.
Yeah, that's where I was going. Justin Ashley, he's got those 3 wins here coming down the last 6 races. Look, Justin Ashley reminds me of the old Seattle Seahawks with Matt Hasselbeck. And Chris Bourbon would say, come on, Seattle. I'm saying, come on, Justin Ashley. It's time for you to step up and do what we thought and know you can do and win a championship. And it all starts right here in Reading, Pennsylvania, in Maple Grove. He gets the win here on the first race of the countdown. We go into Funny Car, and Austin Prock is your event winner for 2024. And I'm going to say he's your event winner for 2025. Yes, he's going to win this thing. This guy is hotter than hell. He's hotter than hell. He's on demon time. It is Austin Prock who's going to win this thing going away this weekend. How about you?
Well, let's say this. He's harder than the stage lanes of Virginia and Norwalk in the summer afternoon. I mean, these guys are so hard to beat. Something back in my mind is telling me, change it up. Let's do Jack. He has a new chassis. That team is gelling the right way. But I think I'm questioning whether or not that new chassis, first race out, is going to give him a bit of trouble. Yeah, play Nate Dogg. Let's start singing it right now. I think Proc's going to continue the momentum. I think he's going to start off on the right foot and steal this win.
In Pro Stock, It is Aaron Stanfield, who is the individual who won in 2024. Look, I'm gonna go way out here in left field.
Kenny Kretzky?
I'm taking Erica Enders to come and win. She will be surprisingly your top 3 in qualifying.
Yeah.
And she's gonna come in, and the guy who she's gonna put on the trailer is gonna be that man who's been dangerous, Greg Anderson. And she's gonna get the first win of the countdown and gonna start shaking things up a little bit. Folks' buttholes are about to start puckering up because she's gonna get a win and pressure is on, baby.
I'm gonna counter that because I do want to make a correction. I said Greg Anderson won the regular season championship. I'm wrong. He didn't. It was 00 Dallas Glenn. He rolls into this with that regular season title, came short of winning the U.S. Nationals, was number 2 in qualifying. He's been playing second fiddle to Greg Anderson the past 2 years, even though he's been one of the top guys in the class. I think having that regular season championship, having that clean slate against Greg, and having that heartbreaking loss to cost him a U.S. Nationals Wally that should have been his when Greg went out, Dallas Glenn. I'm going 00 Dallas to start off the countdown. He's going to take the points lead heading into St. Louis. Or Charlotte, I should say. I forgot we're going to Charlotte.
He needs that. He needs that. He needs to have a quick start. He can't let this come down to Pomona again. He's got to redeem himself. So I like that pick. Everything Nitro makes a great point. There's only so many races you can win on a whole shot. Yeah. And we did mention that. The countdown conditions are going to be near perfect. We're going to have great weather. They're going to have to find a 69 every now and then. And that's going to be the Achilles heel, I think, of this team, is if they can't get that car in the 60s somehow. So that is a great point by Everything Nitro. Pro Stock Motorcycle is left. I meant to tell you guys, 15 in Top Fuel, so somebody's going to get a buy run. 19 in Funny Car, 15 in Pro Stock Motorcycle, and we already know Pro Stock is overloaded, probably 19 or 20. I didn't even bother to count. So we got Pro Stock Motorcycle here. I'm actually going to go Richard Gatson here. They've been pretty close. He's really starting to, put things together and showing a little bit of aggression, ruthless aggression on the starting line. I think it'll be Richard Gatson here in the first race of the countdown.
Okay, Thugonomics, that's a good call back there. I'm going to agree. Richard, you talked to him about that first win, and he always brings up what happened last year, that loss at Reading in the final round. I believe it was to Hector, or it might have been Matt. I think it's happened twice. No, it was Gage lost to Hector. He lost to Matt. He's talked about that. That was probably one of the biggest losses that he's ever had to personally overcome. That's his hometown race. I don't know if Maryland now is a little bit closer than that coming in the next year, but now Reading is his home race. He always loves this event. That loss hurt him a lot personally, so I think he's coming into this race. He has, believe the boys, the big little sisses coming in with him again. He wants to win this race. He wants to bring that back, and that's going to be probably the biggest win of his career if he can pull it off. And I think he very easily can do it. I'm going Richard Gatson to get that third win.
Yeah, man, it's going to be a fantastic, fantastic start to the playoffs. I'm looking forward to it. This is one of my I would have to say this is the top track. It's one of my favorites. It's where I have most of my memories as a child of being at the racetrack. And this is a top-notch facility. I'm looking forward to what happens. They're going to have a live deal, a blending of the NHRA TV and Fox broadcast for Friday night session. So that should be fun. So I'm looking forward to it. Man, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show, Mighty Mack. Again, all the stuff that you do from, just doing stuff in the tower, what you brought to us earlier this season. I believe you did that again with a few interviews here at the U.S. Nationals. Good stuff, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Fanboy my ass. You're doing a really good job, man. Keep up the good work, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on the show. Let everybody know what you got cooking and where you're going to be at for the rest of this season.
So yeah, as you can see, there's a tag right here, Mighty Mac 03. That's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. It's also the YouTube handle as well. So if you just go like youtube.com/@Mighty Mac 03, it should pull that up pretty easily, or just put that in the search bar and it pulls it up as well. Rest of the season, like I said, we're going to Reading. One of my managers at my day job, I told him, "Hey, I'm going to Reading this week," and he says, "You're going to God's country." So he spoke very highly of that. I'm excited to get to go out there. We're going to take Charlotte off. We'll be back for St. Louis, and we're still working on, but we are going to be in Pomona for the finals. I'm excited about that. I loved getting to go to Pomona last year. I'm excited to get to go back this year. It's going to be a fun time. We have great partners, Peak Performance, Brian Bolander, Bob Boyle, and everybody over there have been phenomenal to work with, and we have a lot of things planned in the future, and I'm thankful that they are the ones I get to be partnered with. They'll help me along this process, and they've been very open to letting me be able to do what I need to do. So I'm excited to see how this is going to go. So we have a lot of cool things. You saw a bit of a taste of what I'm trying to maybe lean towards with, if you watch the Monday recap, we're going to try and bring that back for Pomona, and we're going to really try and play up a lot of the storylines heading into this. So it's going to be exciting. I mean, this is my first time at Reading, so this is going to be fun.
You'll
just
love
to get
it.
experience that.
You'll love
Yeah, I got buddies up there that live over near Hershey, and they spoke very highly of it. Haven't seen them since May, so for the 500, so I'm excited for that too. Man, it's hard to think. I hate to drag this on a little bit more, but it's hard to think we're in countdown mode, because I remember sitting next to you in Gainesville to start the season, and now it's countdown mode. It's just crazy. It doesn't feel like it's September, but it is. But hey, man, how about this? You have another race to go to next year. When that announcement came out and Raul was there, yeah, you have two. You're going to you have Gainesville.
I'm going to MIR. That is my home.
You're going to MIR. Oh.
Yes. That is my home.
I thought
that is literally my home. I can stay at Mama's house and go to the track. I'm like 15 minutes away from the track. This will be the first time that I will have been a media member in the state of Maryland, where my friends and family will likely be at this particular event. So it's going to be a little bit of an emotional thing. My dad died before he ever got a chance to see me ever get started in this thing. And it'll be kind of a thing of me being there, kind of saying, "Dad, I did it." So I'm looking forward to it. And so at least 3, there may be more. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes here for me on the NFL side of things. And if things go the way that they need to, I will be maybe at a few more of those races as well. I want to get to Indy next year because it's 75th. I've never been, so I'd like to go there. So, there may be a few more on the docket other than 3 next year if everything goes the way that I need it to. So we're going to keep moving forward. I'm going to let you get this one right here.
Yeah.
Blake does a good job trying. He shares stuff about antelope. I didn't know anything about antelope and the fact that you could eat them. So, cool stuff. What do you have as suggestions for Blake?
Because I'm trying to think, because he says he has cerebral palsy, so he gets around in a wheelchair. I don't know if he means like trying to know their personalities, or like if he's talking about, meeting them at the track, because that's the best way I can say it, is if you have a race that you can go to and you're able to get around, just go to the ropes and they'll walk right up to you.
Oh, yeah.
I say this about Richard Gatson, NHRA. Those guys will see me. They'll be working on their bikes. They'll stop what they're doing, get up, come over and ask how I'm doing. TJ Zizzo, same way. One of the nicest guys you can meet. Tony Stewart, it's harder to get him because of the fact that everybody wants him, but when he sees me, we always talk for a little bit. Ron Capps the same way. Jack Beckman's the same way. Justin Ashley will ask you how your mom's doing. He's that personal. That's the best way I can say it, is either, if you're not already following them on social media, just go to the race, walk up to the ropes, and they'll be with you.
These events are very wheelchairs friendly as well.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the other thing too. Like it's all pavement. There is no grass parking. You're not having to, roll around a tight paddock like how you would a NIMSA or a NASCAR race. It's all open paved parking, and they just set up the trailers like they're tents. So that really helps with that. So that'd be the best advice I have, is just go up to the ropes. and just watch out for them, because you never know when you're going to find them, and they're always open to just go up there and talk to people. They're some of the most accessible, some of the nicest, some of the friendliest people I've ever met in motorsports, because I've said this before about sim racers. It's really, really funny. I see a lot of esports guys that have these massive egos. And it's like, I've met world championship drivers with smaller egos than you, who shake more hands than you and have a lot more money in their bank accounts than you do. That just goes to show you how these guys are. They're some of the most down-to-earth people that you're going to get to meet. And it's why this sport is probably one of the best out there, because of the fact, like we said, it's all GA tickets, man. Everything's a pit pass. You don't need to go out there and buy little tiny bronze little plaque that says you're special. You are special just getting the GA ticket, and you can meet the 17-time champions. This is one of the funny things too from Indy. I had to go meet with the Pete guys, and they had Prague, Brittany, and Jack over in the merch trailer. So say we're at the JFR tent, there's trailers. The merch trailer is right down there, so they have all the drivers in there. There's a line going all the way back to where that JFR hospitality is, and then here comes John walking out of the hospitality trailer. So this line is already wrapped back. They start to notice that John's right there, so it started to make this little bit of a U-bend, because people started to realize John's right there. So you had two lines for the same thing on opposite ends of the line. It was really funny. But there's this guy who had this, I think it was the Elvis car, has a sign. He starts walking away. He's like a grown man, screaming, "I finally got him!" That's how easy it is. You just got to be there at the right place at the right time.
Yep, that's it, man. That's it. Well, Mac, thank you so much, and we'll be talking.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great race. I'm looking forward to it, man. I really am. What can you say? And it's not really smart. It may not be for some. I understand we didn't get a win, but it is week one. There's 17 more of these things. So look, liking is free. So please like the show. Sharing is free. So please share the show, and subscribing. You know what? That's free. We don't charge you to subscribe over here. Okay? So, come on, man. Come part of the family. You're already here anyway, right? Well, I'm looking forward to next Tuesday. We're going to have a little bit different show. I'm hoping that we get our guests. We're going to talk a little bit about NIL and what that means, and how we can reshape NIL and take it into the future. It'll be very, very interesting if I can get Andre on the show. He reached out to me, so I thought it was an interesting topic, and we'll have that next Tuesday if everything goes as planned. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you guys enjoy the first race of the countdown. It is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to all the stuff that's going on with the NFL, as well as I'm busy. Check out what we're doing at SportsJourney. Make sure you check out what I'm doing at heavy.com, covering the Jaguars, the AFC South. If you're a fan of any of those teams, the Colts, the Texans, Titans, I'm doing those too. Well, guys, until next time, you guys take care, be safe, and we're out of here.